Hello, it is Topical, Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. Steve Sipress here. Gorgeous summer day here in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area of Arizona with a beautiful sunset going on behind me. Hope it's fantastic wherever you are as well. And great news, small business optimism report came out today, and it is up for the fourth month in a row, the longest streak since before all the shutdowns began and destroyed the economy. But I digress. We, of course, have not, we started to recover, and then we kind of switched regimes in Washington, D.C., and immediately went into to bad economic times. But optimism is high for the first time in almost 2.5 years, and the highest in almost 2.5 years since February 2022. So you've heard me talk about this before. I've taken this survey. I've had it. It's almost impossible for a small business owner to not respond. They are positive and bullish on the future and optimistic. It says something like, I just remember the question, something like, do you expect that your business will improve over the next 6 months or whatever? Like, if you just say no, you're kind of just saying, I'm an idiot, or I'm a failure, or I'm not going to do anything to turn things around or to make it better. So really, the only people that could really answer no to that are because they're retiring, or again, they're an idiot or whatever. I mean, so like 90% is incredibly low for small business owner optimism, and I think it's at 93.7 or something. So it's a little tricky. This always happens in a presidential election year because part of the optimism is a percentage of the respondents, and for small business owners, overwhelming majority are conservative, are pro less taxes, less regulation, unleashing more success for small businesses, of course. And so they favor any politicians that are going to talk about smaller government and less regulations and that kind of stuff. And in the presidential year, again, a big chunk of these small business owners are optimistic because they think there's going to be a change in the regime in Washington, D.C., and possibly things will, in this case, turn from a really bad, slow, recessionary, inflationary economy we've been in for years to unleashing some positivity in the economy. And so you have to take it with a grain of salt. This optimism report, of course, it goes up in an election year, because not only do people hope there's going to be some kind of a change, but really all politicians know that the economy is always the number one issue, what do they call it? The kitchen table issue, the most important thing to individuals. And so they all talk about lowering taxes and improving things. I mean, now you hear the Democrats talking about, we're not going to tax tips. Like, excuse me? You just voted to tax tips a couple of years ago. But now apparently both sides are saying they're going to lower taxes for people that work and make tips, and so on. And so, of course, both parties, no matter who's running, all the candidates will talk about improving the economy. Most of them will not do anything, especially Congress. They will spend more money than ever, always, and continue to drive the economy into trouble. You really need a strong leader to somehow attempt to tamp that down a bit. Trump didn't do it last time. He was the first stimulus spending and the government shutdown were both Trump's fault. The biggest mistake Trump ever made in his life, if you ask me, shutting down the government, destroying the economy, and then putting in place the first stimulus, first, unfortunately, of several, because that already was bound, as soon as they did it, was bound to cause inflation. And then by doing more and more, and all the shutdowns continuing, the biggest cities and states in America caused a big problem anyway. Everyone knows that by now. Hopefully we'll be out of it sometime soon, although there still is no end in sight. And so the real question is, what do you do with your advertising and marketing? For years, if you've been following me, if you're one of my clients, we're having a ton of success using the inflationary recession times marketing strategies that work especially well in bad economies, and they are working fantastic. So now that optimism is going up a little bit, and possibly, people are getting a little more feeling a little better, maybe things are going to change. At least both candidates are lying or promising that they're going to, get the economy going. Do you switch back to boom time or even neutral time language in your advertising and marketing? It's a very tricky question. It's a lot more than I can discuss here on a short video, but it's very important for your business to know which strategy to use in your advertising and marketing, which tactic to use, because one works spectacularly well during booming economies and terrible during down economies like the one we're in, and another strategy works fantastically well during the opposite. So which one do you use? Hit me up, steve@stevesipress.com. We'll talk about your particular situation, because it does differ in different industries, different areas, different business situations, a lot of moving parts to this. It's not just one simple, one-size-fits-all answer. So steve@stevesipress.com, thewowstrategy.com, private message, comment, reach out, and I will help you out, and I'll even help you figure out what tactic and strategy to use. Do you continue to use the recessionary strategies in your advertising and marketing that are working like gangbusters for years now, or do you switch to the rosy economy strategy in advertising and marketing? We can talk about that if you want, and possibly I'll talk about it some more on future videos, including I'll be back here again tomorrow on Throwback Thursday. So thanks for being here today. Over and out. Bye-bye.